Well, this is absolutely one of the most unique fragrances, not only in my collection, but one of the most unique fragrances I've ever smelled in my life. Shuhrah by Rasasi. This one here has some pretty unique notes in it. I'm not going to ruin it right here in the introduction, but let me just tell you, I'm willing to bet that you guys have never smelled something quite like this before. If you guys want a room filler of a scent, and not only that, a room filler that's also unique, you're going to want to stick around and watch this. Hey guys, welcome back to Real Scent Review. I've got a really unique one here. I've only had this one now since October of 2022, so it's been about 5 months now, but I'm honestly going to say that this is already one of my favorite fragrances ever, and it's super unique. I've never smelled anything like this. All right, let's get started here with Shuhrah by Rasasi. The box itself is really nice. I'm super impressed with Rasasi. Really good quality box. It feels like, it's a cardboard box, but the outer part of it here on the outside, it has like a vinyl finish. So think of like the texture of a seatbelt or maybe a vinyl record, but instead of straight lines, this one has little bumps all over it. Feels kind of like vinyl. Very interesting here. And it has sort of like a push-up part there on the back. I think that's really cool. Importantly here, this batch is from September of 2022. So this is a new batch. That's important for later. Anyway, gonna open this up. Looking at the actual bottle here. Interesting shape. It's got Shuhrah right here on the front. And interesting cap here. I'll show you. It pulls off. This one's actually a pretty tight fitting cap. And if you can see here on the bottom, it's a concave sort of shape, so it's meant to fit perfectly flush right here over this part of the bottle. So there you go. And it doesn't really move around on top. I mean, it does if you force it, but you shouldn't force it. So, all right, right off the bat, you can see the juice is blue. All right, it's blue juice. So for a lot of you, that might be very misleading. You might be thinking, okay, this is a fresh aquatic Ambroxan bomb, but it's not at all. No. This is very strong, very floral, very unique fragrance, and I'm gonna get to it right here, right now. The official note breakdown is the following. In the top, we get tomato leaf, freesia, and rose. In the mid, we get rose, sandalwood, jasmine, and cedar. And in the base, we get leather, oud, musk, oak moss, and amber. Now, I'm gonna be honest, there are a lot of notes in this official breakdown that I don't actually pick up. For example, I don't get any oud. Anyway, what I actually detect is the following. In the top, I definitely get that tomato leaf and the rose. In the mid, I get sandalwood, suede, fresh tobacco. And in the dry down, I get musk and oak moss. So yeah, tomato leaf. Out of all the notes I just mentioned, tomato leaf is probably the one that catches you the most off guard. I mean, tomato leaf. Does anybody ever really think of that when they're thinking of a fragrance accord or a fragrance note? I certainly never had until I smelled this. And if you read the note description and you see tomato leaf, you're probably going to be turned off because honestly, most of us know the scent of tomato. We associate it with like tomato sauce, garlic, onions. It has a savory sort of smell, very garlicky. Something that you just wouldn't want to smell like as far as, spraying a perfume on yourself. I have to say though, this fresh tomato leaf note is nothing like that. It's very pleasant. So how would I describe a tomato leaf? It's very green. It's sweet. Yeah, it smells like a tomato. I mean, how do you describe the smell of a tomato? It's so easily identifiable, yet it's so hard to describe. I guess it would be sort of like, definitely sweet. There's a jamminess to it here. Green for sure, maybe even terpenic in a way, and fresh, maybe even slightly, ever so slightly basilic. I don't know how best to describe it other than that. Now, like I said, this does not have any sort of tomato sauce feel to it, right? It does not smell anything like garlicky tomato sauce, so don't worry about that. So that's what I get right up top. Definitely a dominating tomato leaf note. And it's mixed with rose, very floral. So the rose and the tomato leaf are very heavy in the opening. If you don't like florals, you're probably not gonna like this scent. And going to the mid here, I get sandalwood, suede, and fresh tobacco. So the sandalwood is obviously woody, it's very creamy, sort of like a sweet type of wood. And there's suede. I don't get any leather per se, but suede. It's like a very, very light leatheriness. And I definitely get some fresh, earthy, sweet tobacco. In the dry down, musk and oak moss. So the overarching notes here, the overarching accords are the tomato leaf, rose, and the musk. Now the musk and the rose combined give it a very soapy feel. This is a very soapy fragrance. Soapy, floral, and in the opening, green, terpenic, basilic because of that tomato leaf accord. Very interesting fragrance. A lot of people, a lot of reviewers have said that they get really smoky, ashy tobacco in this. I don't get any of that. I do get fresh, earthy, sweet tobacco mixed with a sort of light suede note, but I don't really get any smoke off this. The tobacco is there for sure though, as is the suede. And in the dry down here, the oak moss can sometimes give off a very scratchy, maybe almost smoky feeling, but I definitely don't get that in this. You know, it's very soapy to me. Musky, soapy, floral. That's really what I get the most of out of this fragrance here. Now, moving on to performance. I've heard people complain about new batch variations being very weak, at least compared to the old batches. Now, the only experience I've ever had with this has been since October 2022. This bottle, like I showed you in the beginning here, was manufactured in September of 2022. So this is a new batch as far as I'm concerned. And let me tell you, this is one of the strongest fragrances I have in my collection. This thing is a powerhouse. The longevity on my skin is easy 9 hours. The projection is wild. I get more than an arm's length for 2+ hours, probably 2.5 hours beyond an arm's length. Insane projection. And the sillage is insane. I sprayed Shuhrah on this paper, right? This tester that I created out of my own sheet of paper. I sprayed this on like 5 hours ago, right? And I left the house and I came back in the house and all I could smell in every room in my apartment was Shuhrah. So like 4.5 hours, 5 hours, the sillage just projects all over the room. It's insane how strong this is. So, I mean, I know we all have different olfactory experiences, but I don't know. I have a hard time believing that this is truly as weak as people say it is. And if people are saying that this is weaker than the old batches, the old batches must be just purely unwearable in that case, because this is, for this price point, this is as strong as it gets. You know, this falls just short of like Sauvage Elixir type of performance, right? This isn't quite that powerful, but it's almost as powerful. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. So, you know, moving on to the next part, which is the price. This 90 milliliter bottle can be had for $45 on FragranceNet. Now, this is a little bit more expensive than it used to be, but I remember back when this was like $30 $45 for 90 milliliters. That's still pretty affordable for a lot of people. And considering the strength of this stuff, a little is going to go a long way with this. I promise you that. This is, like I said, one of the strongest fragrances in my whole collection. The scent itself is so unique, which leads me to the versatility. I don't think it's very versatile. You have to like floral, very soapy scents, and you have to be okay with green, jammy, you know, basilic accords, you know, in a fragrance. This is not typical, not a typical fragrance, at least for Western noses. It's not that it's offensive, but I think that most wearers are not going to enjoy this. I think if out in public, if you smelled this on somebody, you would think, oh, that's a very pleasant smell, because I've smelled this on people in public in passing before, and it smells phenomenal in the air. But you know, the wearer's experience is always different. I think this will be too powerful for a lot of people. I think this will be a little bit too challenging for a lot of people out there. Now, let me tell you, like I just mentioned, in the air, this smells phenomenal. If you're in an outdoor type of setting, don't be worried about offending people. It's just the wearer themselves has to be comfortable with wearing this. You have to be able to wear this. You can't let it wear you. So because of that, it requires a very confident person. And if that's you, you can pull this off easily. I wouldn't really label this a compliment monster. I have received compliments, but it's just one of those scents. It's not mass appealing at all, but it's definitely not offensive either. It's a really unique balance between abstract and likable. There's definitely likable parts to it, but at the same time, it's so unique. It's just so out there. Like I said, as far as Western perfumery goes. So this one here, gonna be for special occasions. I think it's unisex, maybe a little bit leaning masculine, but I definitely think there are considerably high numbers of women out there who would be able to pull this off in the right scenario. Formal for sure. This is not really casual. I would wear this to a business event. I would never wear this to the office. Way too strong. You know, I might wear it on a date if the date is in an open area, like if you're going skating or something, or if you're going for a walk in a garden, for example, or a walk outside, or maybe playing miniature golf outside. I don't know, maybe that example there is a little bit too casual, but anyway, you know what I mean, definitely leans formal. Yeah, so age range, I can tell you nobody under the age of 30 is gonna wanna wear this. This is like, it's not that it's old school, it's just so different. It's so not what we are used to in the Western world. And because of that, I think it takes a mature nose. You know, if you're over 30, you want something that's like really just so new and out there, you're going to want to pick this one up. And at $45 US for 90 milliliters, super good deal. And like I said, you're going to turn heads with this one. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's super good. It's super good here, guys. And yeah, that's been my review of Shuhrah by Rasasi. You're definitely going to want to pick this one up. I'm super glad you guys stuck around for this review here. And until next time, keep it real.